and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Winnie's and Wishes, the 12 Days of Christmas. For today's video, I was going to do a bit of a winter's essential vlog, but there's so many of those out there that I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So today I'm going to take you around the stable yard and show you the things that I find make winter easier for Pedro and me. Starting with Pedro and the items I have in my storage area that are essentials and I keep well topped up on are things for his legs and his feet. Last year, after him getting mud fever, I discovered Lincoln Muddy Buddy Scrub, which I use to wash his legs once a week over the wet and muddy months. And the Supreme Products Leg and Mud Guard, which I put on his legs about once or twice a week, and that just helps repel the mud, and it just kind of drops off in the stable as his legs dry out. Then for his feet, I have Red Horse Products Sole Cleanse. I've been using this for the past 2 or 3 years now, ever since he had an abscess and white line disease. This is antibacterial and it just keeps his hoof looking so much better. If things get a bit bad, like if his feet start to get a little bit smelly, or it's particularly wet, or he's maybe staying out for a few days in a row because of one thing or another, then I do have some other things that I use. So these products are also Red Horse, and they are the Field Paste, which is like a clay. This is a brand new one. So it's like a clay. It smells quite nice actually, and you just rub that all over the sole and into the frog. And I especially put it down like the grooves either side of the frog and the central sulcus, and it just, Pedro lives with sheep, so there's obviously sheep poop. So particularly in the sort of spring and summer months, I find his feet get worse with it, and this is amazing at that time of year. And I also have the Arty Mud. This I used when he had his white line disease. I just used to fill in the white line with this. When he had his abscess as well, I packed the hole that the abscess drained out of. I packed with this while it was all healing, and it's fantastic stuff as well. It is also a clay. Yeah, that's his leg and hoof product that I always keep stocked up on. Then into my little feed room, and in here it's got to be the camera bites from Equine Exceed. These have been in my life for quite a few years now, and I absolutely swear by them. I won't hack them out without giving him one first. They really do work. They are just absolutely amazing. I love the Equine Exceed products. Anyway, the supplements I think are great. Pedro gets the Camera Pro, and he also gets the Gastro Step 2. This is the one with chia. I got a little sample size of that, so we're working our way through that at the moment. Really liking the ones with chia in actually. I'm thinking I might stick with those. But yeah, my essential for in here is definitely the Camera Bites. Then I've got my water containers. I have 3 water containers, and they're brilliant all the time for me because I use them to fill water up in the field, but in the winter they absolutely come into their own. I make sure they are always full. This one's empty because I used it today out in the fields, but these 2 are full, so that if the taps freeze, I still have water, so I can still give him water to drink, I can still do his feed, soak his hay nets, things like that. My top tip for them, however, is if you're using them in winter to make sure you've got water when the taps freeze, don't put the tops on properly, just sit them on top. Stops any dust or insects or anything getting into them. It means that your tops are not going to be frozen on when you come up to use them when the taps are all frozen. Then into my hay store area, and something that I invested in last year, which I can't believe it took me so long to invest in, was enough hay nets to fill for the whole week. This has been absolutely amazing to have all my hay nets done on a Sunday, so that when the week comes, everything's just ready to go when I get up after work. Has just been absolutely amazing. So I really recommend, if you've got a pony that lives in an overwinter, get yourself enough hay nets that you can fill for the whole week, because it is an absolute time saver. Something else that I use in here is actually my old bedding bags. Now I use these to fill with hay to take down to the field in the morning when he goes out. Because Pedro has his hay soaked, it means I can really easily just stick the hose in this, give it a good soak through to get the dust off. Most of my bags end up with holes in the bottom, so you can see that there are actually holes in the bottom. there. And the water partly drains out, so it means when I tip it, it's not quite so heavy. I then put it into a hay bag and tie it up in his field. And obviously it's a good way to reuse the bags rather than them just going in the bin. Then I think the final, and probably what for me has been the most important thing to have being on a DIY livery yard, is a little bit of an imagination and thinking outside the box. We have a very small school here, which we're very lucky is lit, but I don't use it. Pedro is not particularly good out there in it. He finds it very spooky. So what I do instead is, in the summer months I have my field and I have a 20 by 40 set up in my field that I use. But in the winter time, I actually just do a bit of groundwork out on the yard, or either actually just up and down here. Walk him up and down here, do a little bit of lateral bend, a little bit of hind and front end yielding, and it just is a little bit of something to do, keep his brain ticking over. I hope you can hear me because it's a bit windy out here, but we are also incredibly lucky that we actually have security lights out here on the farmyard, so I can work Pedro in this space out here outside, and I'm lit by a security light. So yeah, that's been an amazing thing to have as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that very brief little tour of the things that I find help make winter easier for me, and a couple of little tips along the way as well. We will be back tomorrow with another video.